Survivor's ready! Direct from Hobart, it's time for you to hear those so-called experts from Survivor Oz talk about another reality show, despite the fact they always said they would only ever talk about Survivor. It's The Amazing Race Oz, and here's your host,
Noah Grove. Hello, people and puffins, and welcome to The Amazing Race Oz, Australia's only Amazing Race podcast, besides Ben Power's one that lasted about 3 episodes, but we don't worry about that one. We are back, and we're finally into it. It is the next season. We've made it through the storm, which was recently dating versus past dating couples, which was, let's face it, probably the worst season in the Amazing Race history. No denying it. We're here for a new season. It's classic style Amazing Race. None of this wacky business. No stupid twists. No John Montgomery, unfortunately. I'm already missing him, but Phil Kogan is a good substitute, so I can't complain. We're here to recap the premiere episode, and I'm joined by 3 of the Arslets. First up, he is best known for being the host of The Amazing Race Canada, who has now been demoted and is no longer a professional. Colin Hilding, welcome back to the show, a new season.
Yeah, I finished 0 in the predictions for The Amazing Race Canada. I was called out on air by Brian and Cynthia, my favorite team, as predicting them to be 3rd last. And now I've been demoted, so lots of fun for me this season.
This is just a downward spiral for you. Is this like a triple U-turn for you? It's really going down.
Yeah.
Next up, he is best known for not talking and telling people whatever. It's Anthony Rossi. Rossi, welcome back to a new season of The Amazing Race.
Thanks for that lovely introduction. Good to be back.
I think that's the longest sentence you've ever said, so maybe we're in for a new Rossi this season. Stay tuned.
Shut up.
And we also have, he is best known for being last, but will he be least? I'm going to guess no, but let's just wait and see. You'll never know. Vote at the end of this episode. It is Jared Lubeck. He's back. The winner. Wait, no, the second place, is it? Or this is the winner of the Amazing Race Canada predictions? I don't know.
The one who's better than Colin.
Yeah.
Well, that's everyone.
Couldn't take the winner title. Had to settle with runner-up. I've done some voodoo and given all my bad luck to Colin, so he can look forward to a couple of seasons with 0 points.
And, of course, we had the winner, Kristen, who could not join us because it was too early. Hello, Kristen.
She was out celebrating her win.
Yeah, partying hard, not christening, so hello to Kristen. You better be on next week. That is a threat. Anyway, new season, new episode. What did we have? What was it called? A Little Too Much Beefcake was the premiere. Let's start with general opinions on the new episode and the new season. And I have to say, I think we're off to a good start. It wasn't groundbreaking, but I found it thoroughly entertaining for a 42-minute episode. I remember season 25 was kind of similar to that, and that turned out to be one of the best seasons. So I have to say, it wasn't groundbreaking, but it was enjoyable, and it was certainly better than all that crazy dancing they were doing in episode 1 of season 26. So, Colin, lay it on me, new season.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was a standard premiere. There wasn't anything extraordinary in it. I think that the teams came across a lot more lively than what we saw in the very brief intro videos that CBS gave us. I liked the challenges. I think that there was some decent suspense on the end. So overall, I was happy. I think that it could turn out to be a pretty decent season. We'll have to wait and see, but it was off to a good premiere at least.
Jared, this season premiere or Canada premiere?
Canada premiere, hands down, even though I watched it 5 or 6 weeks after it actually happened.
Canada, everything, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I think I had lots of fun moments. I thought that the challenges were okay. I think in this episode, it kind of annoyed me that there wasn't that much room for teams to overtake, and really everything came down to a detour. There was no roadblock. There was that task at the start, which I thought was kind of pointless. But it was okay.
Rossi, in one word, how was this premiere?
Rushed.
And now in an expanded format of your one word.
It felt very rushed. Like they were, like they didn't even say the names of the teams. It's just like these are the two people that were. Like it felt so rushed, and then Phil says go, and then we're getting teams in taxis saying we're friends from a long time ago. It's like it was so haphazard and everything was crazy. But the episode was fun. I think there was a lot of fun moments to it, and a lot of laughing moments and things like that. So I think it was an enjoyable time watching it. It just was all over the place.
I think it's difficult because last season they did a 60-minute episode and it was too long, and then this one felt a bit too rushed. So they need like an exclusive 50-minute episode or something like that, because it seems like they can't get it right. But yeah, Rossi, you mentioned, and one thing that pisses me off when they change formats for like seemingly no reason is the introductions of the team. That's one thing I'm always happy that the Amazing Race kept, unlike Survivor, which the people who all wear purple consist of awkward shot. They got rid of that in Survivor. In this, they've always kept it like Tanner and Josh, and then they would go through them, Jasmine and Danielle. And I always love the openings of the seasons, getting to know the teams right off the bat with a little Phil monologue, which was introduced with this new format, and also a new little down the bottom of the screen, like I'm not sure if anyone picked up on that, new graphics, which seemed unnecessary. Colin, did you like or did you hate the change?
I didn't mind it. I wasn't even that conscious of it. I was wondering why we weren't getting the introductions to the teams, and they just kind of spread them throughout. I think the one problem is that I can't really even pinpoint if every team got one of their little intros.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, but it wasn't that bad. I do feel like it felt like the episode took a lot longer to get going, and it's probably just because the format was different, but it didn't ruin the episode for me at all.
What about you, Jared?
I definitely prefer the old way. I think, like Colin said, kind of splicing it up, it was difficult to know if every team got kind of their own segment, and it felt like it detracted from the rest of the race. Because I like how we get to sort of know everybody, and then it's like, go. And this, it kind of took away some of the pacing of them actually racing to have them kind of partway through while they're in the taxis and stuff.
And Ross, you kind of touched on
it. Just it was weird. And once they started go, and they introduced like the next team after they had started running, I was like, oh, I forgot they were on the race. Like I didn't realize that there were more.
Are they going to get like their own intro as the season goes on? Because I don't think every team did. Like this would be like Simi and Opie in episode 11 finally getting their introduction intro or something. But yeah, that kind of annoyed me, but whatever, it's over now. The start of the season, kind of similar to season 25, which can't be a bad thing, although we had no silver anniversary mentions, but starting at Venice Beach, and we had a crowd there for the second time. We had the winners of season 1, which was kind of just random, but Phil pointed it out. So that was kind of cool to have the public introduction again, and the go, as we said. And the first task, which I enjoyed, was that they had to cycle, but then the twist being, there's always a twist, well, not always, but sometimes, is the water bikes, which I really enjoyed. I love challenges, like we talked about the face-offs in Canada 3. I like it when the teams are up against each other in challenges. I think Amazing Race needs that in every episode. It makes it more exciting. So, Jared, did you like the intro at Venice Beach and then the little challenge with the cycling thing? And then on top of that, one team gets a 30-minute head start, which turned out to be not even a head start.
It wasn't my favorite, only because I liked the actual challenge itself. I liked that it was a twist and it was the bikes on the water, and I think we got some really funny moments, especially with, like, I can't remember anybody's names. Alex and Adam and Tanner and Josh, like there were some funny moments there, and then Ernest and Jin sort of trying to go across on the bike, like who knows what was happening there. The thing that frustrated me was that one team got a 30-minute kind of head start on the next plane. Like to me that didn't make any sense because there was only kind of racing for first place, and then that was it. It's like, well, who cares if I come in 11th in this, because there's only one team getting a head start. So I felt like as soon as there was a team ahead going across the water, there was no incentive for the other teams at all. It would have been nice if they had maybe had 3 flights or 2 flights and split them up a little bit more, because then I think it would have sort of kept up the competition early on. But it was an okay challenge.
Yeah, I think that too. I think it should have been like the first 3 or first 4 teams get like an hour head start or a 2-hour head start, and then the rest are in. Because just one team gets a 30-minute head start, which 30 minutes is not much, and we can see how it gets delayed. Rossi, a challenge right off the bat that isn't crawling through mud with your recently dating couple.
I liked it. It did supply a lot of humor, like Ernest and Jin trying to do the bike and they couldn't figure out how to move it, and then Justin and Diana passing Tanner and Josh saying they'd help with their beefcake, so they don't want to. And a lot of teams like competing that I wasn't expecting to compete, like Cindy and Rick were there like 3rd or 4th.
Oh, we'll get to them.
So it was good.
One thing I loved was the teams at the end trying to get off onto the platform, just all of them like tumbling into the water was pretty funny. Colin, we had a challenge right off the bat, and we started in Venice Beach. Have you ever been to Venice Beach?
Never. I've seen it on The Amazing Race, though. I don't know if that counts.
Oh, so yeah.
I did like the last couple seasons. I think especially since season 25, they're making a huge deal about, they're inviting fans out to be there for the opening moments, and we had a couple of past teams in season 25. Having the original winners, Rob and Brennan, that was really good. I'd like to see that every season, like bring back at least one past team and maybe have them, have like a starting gun that goes off or a flag. That would be like a good way.
Yeah, why did they involve them a bit more? Like, they're down here. These are like the original winners. No one's heard from them in 15 years.
Let's invite them out to smile once on camera and then blend into the background. Not so fair to the original winners.
It was like season 25. We've got some ex-Amazing Races. And it's like you didn't recognise a single face in the crowd. They're all just like old second boots from like season 3 or something.
Yeah, but I mean, they've hit on something that I think they could use going forward with that. I love the water bike challenge. I think that every Amazing Race season should start with one challenge right off the bat. And I will agree with Jared, though. I think that I like the idea that a team could have an advantage for winning, but split it up after that, because it didn't make sense for anybody else to try once Justin and Diana got there. But it was great to see a team like Justin and Diana just come out like this massive lead and show how competitive they were. I think teams tend to kind of just all blend together in the first episode, and forcing them to show how competitive they are was a nice touch. So I liked the opening with the water bike, but it really did need some spacing out, like you said, with the flights.
Well, let's talk about Justin and Diana. We'll be jumping around here, but they were definitely a notable team in this first episode when, as you said, there are a lot of teams, but man, they had a rough ride with getting the advantage, which was kind of like the underdogs, and then 30 minutes became a 5-minute head start, followed by the fast forward, which we will get to, which became, no, you can't do that, which was frustrating. I can't stand it when these Amazing Race seasons have tasks that can't be completed. It's just like, surely you can prepare a bit better than that. And then, yeah, they ended up coming in 9th after having this head start and were fairly prominent. So what did you think of Justin and Diana's arc in this episode, Colin? And they were kind of one of the most notable teams.
I actually wasn't really sure what to think about them going in, because I don't think those CBS videos really did a lot to showcase anybody, but they're definitely showing the promise that I think that their storylines set them up to live up to. I think that Justin might go down to be the most competitive person in the history of the Amazing Race, and there was no better way to show that than this twist. I mean, everything went wrong for them after everything went right for them. I am surprised that Diana seems to not speak at all. I think she had like one sentence in this episode. Maybe it's just because Justin's such a strong character, but I think the downside of that first place team gets this is that it is an easy setup if everything does go right for them. Of course they're going to get the fast forward. Of course they're going to get the express pass, but everything going wrong for them in this episode really made the premiere, and I would have a hard time remembering this premiere 2 or 3 years from now if it wasn't for them.
Jared, what did you think about the hashtag the green team and all they faced in this episode?
Yeah, I thought it was a really interesting journey for them. I like that they got so emotional about it, and usually that kind of frustrates me because I'm like, what are you people on about? But you could clearly see that it meant so much to them. So it was good to see that they were so invested and they just sort of kept trying. And for their 30-minute head start to turn to 5 minutes, like, was pretty terrible. But I was glad that they were able to kind of rally and stick around.
And Rossi, you like a bit of green, don't you? That's your favourite colour.
Oh, God, yeah, I love it. Hashtag the green team. Should have been mine.
It just sounds like they do yard work or something. Hashtag the green team. Like, call the green team for all your mowing needs. Yeah, I don't know about that name, but what did you think of it?
I liked their story. It was definitely like an interesting journey because out of all the teams, they were the most prepared, I guess you could say, because they're such big fans in that, and it's interesting to see that they could have almost gone home. But I'm glad that the fast forward didn't work out because I don't like a fast forward on the first leg when you have the express pass as the first place prize.
Yeah, that's a bit stupid that there's the express pass to be won at the end of it. I kind of like hidden immunity express pass better. But I don't know, I kind of like fast forward in the first leg. I am a huge advocate for bring back season 1 rules where there's a fast forward in every leg because all the strong teams, well, hear me out, because all the strong teams, I think it was even Robin Brennan who used it in episode 1, don't quote me on that. So all the strong teams use it early on because they're like, yeah, fast forward, which allows later on in the season some of the lesser teams or some of the underdogs to actually have a chance to go for the fast forward and jump ahead. And it leads to less predictability as we saw in the first season. So I'm an advocate for it. And I'm sure I could make more defenses for it. But Colin, you kind of scoffed at that. So just a quick thought on the fast forward being in this leg, and if you really want to dig into me for my statement I just made.
No, I don't like the fast forwards because it takes a lot of suspense out of it. I think that the teams need to really fight for the first place now, especially that there's prizes for coming in first place, and the prizes seem to get better with each season. I think it was season 5 where they changed it, where like the fast forward. This is what I want to go back to. Like, I think season 5, where if you're going to get the fast forward, you have to complete something that is extremely difficult. And, something like shaving your head, I think it was, where...
Always love a good shaving your head.
Yeah, well, something where people will show up and they may not actually do it. But it's so clear to everybody who the first place team is most of the time. And nobody really goes for the fast forward once one team is gone. So, I would rather that they save the fast forwards for a few points, maybe have them as surprises throughout the race, do it like twice, the way they do U-turns, and make it something that's really difficult to complete so you could have a bit more competition in there.
What about, I'm just brainstorming here, but what about a twist where, I don't know, like another team gets to pick which team has to do the fast forward. So it's like shaving your head, but then they have to do it or they get a penalty. So like, maybe not even fast forwards, but do you like the idea in The Amazing Race? This is off topic, but I'm just brainstorming twists here that other teams can screw up other teams, but not just U-turning or stalling or whatever that was called. By like maybe other teams can win things to give punishments to different teams. Is that stupid?
Do you mean like? Are you implying like that the fast forward becomes if you get the fast forward, it's more that you choose another team that has to do a speed bump in the middle of the race or something?
Yeah, like and it couldn't even be called the fast forward. It could be like I don't know, pass the bomb or something. Where
Pass the ball.
you find this hidden card on the race, and then you can throw a punishment onto another team where they have to do some sketchy thing. Maybe I'm messing with the formula too much. I think Amazing Race, it's 27 seasons in, it needs messing with the formula. Although no recently dating couples. Jared, fast forward. All right, Rossi, go quickly.
What if you did what they did in the second Australian season, where they voted on who gets the punishment? I forget what the.
Yeah.
So what if they vote on whoever gets the speed bump in the leg?
Actually, I know that the Amazing Race is not a strategy game as much as like something like a Survivor or maybe a Big Brother. I've never seen Big Brother US, so I'm not sure how much strategy that has. But I think it would be good with more strategy. Like at the start of each leg, there's a vote or something. Like this week you're voting to give a team a speed bump, or this week you're voting to give a team this or something, and it could force alliances together, and it could force some more strategy and more of a social game. But again, maybe messing with the formula. But I like that idea.
I have an idea, like kind of along the line.
Go. This is like the Amazing Race brainstorm now.
Let's fix the Amazing Race from our Amazing Race.
Well, that's actually not a bad episode to do, mate.
Well, I think that twists in the Amazing Race usually don't work out. The family edition, the blind dating, but even ones that deal with the race. What was it, season 22, I think it was, where the first place winners can win $2 million, but like it's gonna all fall apart if they don't.
That was 21.
Yeah, 21. What if? I think that the twists work when the teams can be surprised. So let's say Justin and Diana are going for the fast forward, and they think, well, we have this made now. It turns out that they don't get a fast forward, but when it gets to a detour, they're allowed to choose, whereas they have to assign every other team which one they do. It wouldn't really work on episode 1, but let's say you get down the road and it comes up to the detours and Justin and Diana get it and they're like, okay, well, Alex and Adam are going to have to do the volleyball and Ernest and Jin are going to have to do the puzzle, and they can kind of sabotage teams that way.
I really like that. I think that is something we need to tweet Phil Cogan about or something. That the first team to make it gets to decide, all right, this detour can only have 3 people. This is the final 7. This detour can have 3 people. This detour can have 3 people. You must now assign which detour, and they cannot switch. So if you know that Opie can't swim, then you assign him the synchronized swimming challenge, although that would be cruel. I don't swim. So, yeah, I really like that. You could even call it the sabotage, or maybe you need a less crazy name because it might be helping teams. You could also say, oh, we're aligned with that team, and they're really good at synchronized swimming. They're hockey professionals, so they're dancers. I really like that idea. How come we need that for season 28?
We claim it here. We get the royalties if this takes off.
Yeah. This is green buffs all over again. No, that makes me really excited. I think that would add some strategy and a really cool element. Would that be every leg, or would it just be every now and then?
I'd say do it every now and then. Like, keep it so that the racers don't know when it's coming, because otherwise there's too much of a race just to go first place.
Yeah, I think that's cool. There you go, CBS. And bring back blind detours and roulette detours as well. That was cool. Jared, the fast forward in episode 1, and if you've got any Amazing Race twists ideas or comments on any of the twists that we've just brainstormed, feel free to jump in.
I would love to see that whole the first place team deciding what the other teams do for the detour. I think that is a brilliant idea. The fast forward, I'm with you, Noah. I would like them to bring back having it in almost every leg, because I just think that it is that the first team there is going to be the first, is just going to go for it automatically. And at least if you have it in every leg, then there's a bit more suspense on who's going to go for it. And I think you have more of a chance of multiple teams going for it. I think the problem with them too, I think either they do need to be like really difficult, like shaving your head, or at least something where I hate when it's only one team can attempt the fast forward at a time. Like this would have been if two teams had gone. It would have just been whoever got there first type thing got to do it. I think it needs to be either something really difficult on someone's head. Yeah, or even though I hate to say it, land a helicopter on someone's head, because then at least you can have multiple teams doing it at once.
Yeah, or even challenges like where you have to wait for the other team to show up, and it becomes a face-off fast forward, a bit of a tongue twister, but like if you want to go for the fast forward, you've also got to wait for the other team to show up and do a curling match. And if the other team doesn't show up, then you're screwed and you have to go back and turn around. But I just think with having it on every leg, it would add some strategy, because you might have like the really fit young douche bro team going, well, we're really strong. We're going to save our fast forward for League 10. And then another underdog takes it, and then the douche bro team goes home. So I just think teams would try and use it to their advantage, and it could screw some momentum up. But anyway, let's talk about Season 27, Episode 1. We're really jumping around, but I want to get some opinions on hashtag Team Shack Attack. Shack Attack. I really enjoyed this team. Hashtag Gyno2. I thought Sydney and Rick were one of, if not the stars of this episode. They kind of surprised me. I was really enjoying everything they did. So I'm hoping they go far, because I'm enjoying Shack Attack. What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, I'm on board with Shack Attack. I think Cindy and Rick, they provided so many
Rick?
funny moments.
There is a
yeah,
Rick
exactly. That was my note. Just every sort kind of part of it, and I like their relationship dynamic too. I think that it'll be interesting to see if he is kind of overbearing throughout the race, or if she kind of, I suppose, stands up for herself a bit more. I thought they had great moments at the volleyball. Well, they didn't do the volleyball. They had great moments at the puzzle. They would have had great moments if they did the volleyball, I'm sure. And yeah, just an all-round great leg from them.
What do you think about Gyno2, Rossi?
I was very wrong on them. I didn't think much of them we had less than a 2-minute video, so not much to go off, but I didn't think anything of them. They'd be gone early, but they came out strong. They were one of the first done biking and everything. And they weren't just competitors, they were funny. Like the whole thing about, I don't like him in short shorts. And he's like, oh, I love it. And it's so freeing and whatever. And like, they were so good.
Colin, 4 for 4.
Yeah, Gyno2 is an instantly memorable team. I think as much as I said at the beginning that a lot of these teams improved on what we saw preseason for me, they really did, and I think this is a team that, I'm not calling it this early, but this is the type of team you could see coming back in like a future All-Star season. I think Rick's going to be a really good, I don't think he's going to be as competitive as Justin, but I would love to see, a rivalry develop between Cindy and Rick and Justin and Diane. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Moving on to our location for this episode, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Hooray! My favourite continent. We're back. And just a heads up, we're here for at least the next 2 episodes, as it always is when we go down south. And the teams had to go to a helicopter and take a little helicopter ride, which was fine, I guess. Is there anything to add on this, Colin?
This is, again, standard for the Amazing Race US, or I guess for all Amazing Race seasons. They really want to start off with a big location, an exotic location, and it's usually something aerial that they have to do. So I'm not surprised that there was both helicopters and they tried for hang gliders in this episode. I don't think anything is ever going to top the skydiving in Bora Bora, but this is just what they do in the Amazing Race now. I did find it funny that they're like, well, you're going to have to identify something that you see on the helicopter ride, and of course it's going to be the biggest. It's like you're taking a ride across New York City, and it's like, oh, what's that big statue there? The Statue of Liberty. Okay, now where was the Statue of Liberty that you saw? It's a little bit too obvious, but I didn't really have any problems with it. It was pretty much over as soon as it started.
Well, I heard a rumour that they might be going to Tasmania this season. What's that? The snug post office? Yeah,
There's the shed of Noah Groves where he hosts the Amazing Race Oz.
Wave to the camera. Rossi, have you ever been in a helicopter before?
I have not.
Do you want to talk about the challenge / route info?
Sure. Yeah, it was just like another obstacle. It wasn't anything special. I mean, we did see Ernest and Jin struggle with it. They weren't quite sure which one they saw.
Yeah.
But it was just whatever. It seemed like it would be more challenging. I thought the question would have been harder, but it was pretty straightforward.
Literally the most famous thing about Brazil. Yeah. Jared, when you were interning on the Amazing Race Norway, no helicopter challenge?
No, it was all kind of forward drives in the Blue Mountains. That's about as adventurous as they got. Yeah, this challenge was part of the reason that this episode wasn't great. There was no way you could overtake somebody unless another helicopter crashed, which would have been unfortunate. Yeah, could they have picked an easier question? I was waiting for it to be something kind of obscure and maybe slightly difficult. Like, I didn't even know what. Like, they at least could have asked a question about the statue. If it was a Statue of Liberty, they could have said, "What arm is she holding the torch in?" or something or other. Yeah. We got some good moments from Alex and Adam. It was funny to see Alex freaking out and Adam just laughing at him. So that was nice. But yeah, a fairly pointless challenge.
Not to mention though, Ernest and Jin, who did like a crash course study session before they went, and then seemed to be the only ones that drew a blank. With like, I don't know.
Well, that's a good segue, Colin. Let's talk about our dancing team. We always got to have a dancing team, it seems, nowadays. Ernest and Jin, who pre-season favourites, I have to say, didn't enjoy them too much. I kind of found them infuriating and annoying at times. They definitely had their shining moments, but I thought this would be my favourite team just on how wacky they are. But yeah, I wasn't buying it, Colin.
I still like them. I still say they're one of my favorites I saw in episode 1, but I think we had so much out of their 2-minute video. Like, they really stood out. I remember saying that every single thing they said ended up in my notes for our preview episode. Not as much on this one. I still like them. I like that they kind of suck a little bit. Jared? What's your?
Yeah, they're our sucky team.
Yeah, what's your famous quote, Jared? What is that about? A special team that sucks?
It takes something like that.
Jared doesn't remember apparently, but yeah.
No, special teams just suck and still be likable.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I will agree that
they're this team.
They weren't standouts in this episode, and maybe that's because they weren't ever in the lead or right at the back. And I think that those middle teams kind of all just become a little bit invisible throughout the episode or just meaningless. But I still have a lot of hope that in the next couple weeks they're going to provide tons of entertainment.
I don't think they're long for this race. Jared, what did you think about the brothers?
I think there's potential there. I agree that I don't think they're going to be around for long. I think I had kind of a lot higher hopes for them going into it, and after seeing them after one leg, I think it's only a matter of time. They were funny at the volleyball challenge, but apart from that, we didn't really see too much of them.
They had the good quote, though, where I can't remember if it was Ernest or Jin, which one didn't want to get into the short shorts, and the other one said, well, we're in Brazil, who doesn't like to be naked?
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Rossi, hashtag the dancers.
They're not the top team, but I still like them. I wasn't getting angry or upset or anything. I think they did have good moments, but they weren't standouts. Like, they were funny. They were trying to bike their way onto the dock was funny, but not the big characters that I anticipated.
Let's move on to the detour. We had sand or sidewalk. Sand, they had to play a lot like foot volleyball, except for they could use their hands, so they had to play volleyball against professionals, and that score 6 points. And then in sidewalk, they had a big slide puzzle, which is like, what was it, like a mural type pavement thing. And that was pretty much it. They had to solve a slide puzzle. Usual question, Jared, which one would you do? What was more entertaining, and general thoughts and observations from the detour?
I definitely would have picked the slide puzzle. Once you've done kind of one slide puzzle, you kind of get the knack of how to actually do them, and then all of them are kind of quite simple. So I think I could have breezed through that. Yeah, I don't know which one was more entertaining. I was going to say the volleyball, but I do think despite it just being a slide puzzle, there was kind of some funny moments there. Probably the volleyball, just because some of the teams... I don't think I've seen like people that bad at volleyball. Yeah, Kelly and Siobhan, I was like, what is happening here? And it was really smart of them to switch, even though they stuck to the other one as well. Yeah, I don't really have much to add. It was good to have the detours being different things. I like when they have kind of a mental challenge and a physical challenge for the detours, and they're quite different.
Rossi, same questions. The detour time, first of the season.
I would have definitely gone for the volleyball one because I cannot do slide puzzles.
Yeah, I've never done one in my life. I've tried.
I don't know what was better necessarily because they were kind of both equal to me. There was some good in each, and there was some boring in each. So, a bit mixed.
I liked the volleyball. I thought that was funny. I didn't find anything in the sidewalk, to be honest. Colin, first detour of the season, was it a worthy one to kick off with?
Both detours were just okay as challenges, but there was a lot of memorable stuff that happened. I think the slide puzzle could have been a complete disaster for episode 1, but the fact that there was so much bickering and difficulty for some teams, I think made that worthwhile. The volleyball, I wish that they had forced them to do something with their feet. You know, like you have to forget about let's get 6 points. You have to get at least 1 point by using your foot or your head. Because they had this huge setup. It's like, it's volleyball, but with your feet. But our players will be using their hands. So that's completely meaningless. Which one I would do? I probably would have done the volleyball. Not that I would have been much better at it, but I think if I'm going to lose at one of the challenges, I would much rather lose to professionals that can, do what Olympic athletes do, but only with their feet, than to lose on a slide puzzle. I don't know if we're going to talk about it at all, but are we going to cover why everybody was in bikinis and short shorts? Is that going to be its own segment here?
Go for it.
All right, well, there's the question. Why was everybody in matching bikinis and short shorts this episode?
Well, they're in Brazil.
Yeah, everybody wears short shorts and white bikinis in Brazil.
Especially while doing slide puzzles.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a slide puzzle on the sidewalk. It's like, you better change in your bikinis. I found it even more suspicious, though, that some teams changed out of it, whereas others stayed in it when they got, do you really want to waste that time? I mean, obviously, it wasn't required, so why are some of these teams wasting 5 minutes to change back into their clothes afterwards? I didn't really understand that.
I feel like you could make an argument for the volleyball, that's the uniform, but for the slide puzzle, I've got nothing. One team that I think surprised some people in the volleyball, which I think people were maybe underestimating them, was Alex and Adam. They're our Charlotte and Mina type team for this season, who I thought were decently entertaining. They weren't the best, they weren't the worst. I was happy to see them. I hope they stick around a bit, and I thought they did quite well in the challenge, because I imagine the height difference would actually be quite difficult with a challenge such as volleyball when you have to get it over a net. So, Colin, Alex and Adam, what were your thoughts on them after one episode?
I didn't find them overly entertaining, but it's episode 1 and there's a lot of screen time to be shared. A lot of these teams weren't overly entertaining. Like I said, the ones who finish in the middle, you don't get to see a lot of, and they're pretty much right dead in the middle. But yeah, I mean, it was impressive in the volleyball, and they acknowledged that their difficulty was like, well, we obviously can't spike this thing, but we can at least get it up in the air. They didn't own the challenge, but I appreciate they didn't switch, because one of the only notes I made during these detours was it's definitely the U.S. version again. Everybody's switching detours, which, as I've said in past seasons, is my biggest pet peeve with the Amazing Race. And we are treated in Canada where most people stuck out the detours. But yeah, the fact they didn't switch is what impressed me, because all these other teams are panicking and they're like, well, let's stick it out and see what we can do. So maybe they're just terrible in slide puzzles and they knew that this was their only hope. But good on them for sticking it out. That's what I have to say about them.
Jared, did you like Alex and Adam? Hashtag the cousins.
They weren't my favorite, and I can see them getting annoying really quickly. They just had maybe 3 times throughout the episode when they were kind of niggling other teams with comments that I think were just meant to be taken as lightly as a joke, but I think they'll kind of get on the other team's nerves. But it would be interesting to see them turn into the villains of the season. But yeah, they were impressive. They did well on the biking, and then at the volleyball they did well as well. So I think they have a chance of making it far.
What about you, Ross?
They were charming. I don't know.
Charming?
Yeah. That's my word choice for this one.
Do you want to expand on charming, or are you going to leave it at that?
They were all right. They didn't do much.
Charming, all right, and they didn't do much. Cool. So coming in first is a team we haven't mentioned yet. Psy, my favourite team. Hello, Gino and Jesse, poor man's version. Hello, every other fit young male team who dominates, challenges, times boring.
Is that why we had Robin Brennan at the beginning?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. No. Again, Colin made a good point that they had to spread the airtime out. So maybe I found them boring because of that, but I'm not liking Tanner and Josh. And they won the Express Pass, which I found interesting. And unless I heard this wrong, once they play it, they have to hand it on to another team.
Yeah, and then they have to use it just one leg later.
Which I think is kind of a cool twist, kind of random but fun. Maybe they could do that the whole season. It's like pass the parcel or pass the bomb. Keep coming back to the pass the
It'll
bomb.
really suck if they do that and it's the second last episode. It's like, all right, now here's your Express Pass for the finale.
Well, I think that would be cool if they just had to keep passing it on until every team left in the race has used it, and maybe a lot of teams will get eliminated where it will come down to only a few teams actually got to use it. But I think it would be cool that it's just keeps getting passed on each leg. Again, we're just brainstorming twists like fix the Amazing Race US. Rossi, my favourite team, that's sarcasm, Tanner and Josh. And what did you think of this new Express Pass business?
Well, it's very obvious that the budget's been cut because they couldn't even be bothered to print a second Express Pass. They just have to pass it on. But I think it's all right. I think that cutting the timeline of the Express Pass is good. I think it forces teams to use it instead of hold on to it till near the end. So I'm hopeful, but we'll see. It could go downhill really quickly. And Tanner and Josh, you found them boring? Probably because they are boring. And that's probably them in real life too, boring. So.
Oh, well, probably. Hello, Tanner and Josh. Jared, what did you make of Tanner and Josh and hashtag Express Pass twist?
They're not my favourite. In the preseason, I said that the Lovo meter was at about 95%. I'm going to bump that up to about 96%. And we'll see kind of where that needle goes from here. I thought they were fairly bland and, I don't know, just not entertaining or all that likable. The Express Pass, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. To me, it's kind of similar to just having 2 anyway. It doesn't bother me that they've changed it, but I don't think it's going to play out that differently than it normally does.
And Colin, Tanner and Josh, Express Pass, new twist, and feel free to also critique my hashtag past the express pass bomb.
I don't mind them as much as everybody else seems to. I don't think they're boring at all, but they are playing a type of team that we've seen so many times, and in comparison to a lot of those others, they're not as strong. I think it's good that they won the first leg because their role in the race is to be the competition that everybody wants to beat, and them having the express pass puts a big target on them. So there's a good storyline set up from them being winners in episode 1. If they came in second or third, I don't think that this is as interesting going forward with the express pass. If they came in dead last, it's interesting because they are like Gino and Jesse from Amazing Race Canada, but I don't mind them, and I'm hoping that they do stick around for a while just to create more competition.
And express pass twists?
Yeah, well, I like the express pass twist. The fact that they have a limited time is good. We saw that on the Amazing Race Canada too, and what I really like is the idea of them passing it off, like it is past the express pass, like hot express pass, pass it along. But I think I heard Phil say that it was going to be the very next leg. When let's say Tanner and Josh use it, they pass it to Justin and Diana. Justin and Diana has to use the next leg. I really hope that's not it, because if that next team to get it doesn't need the express pass, it's pretty much a waste. I would like it like they have only 3 legs to use it, and then it gets decreased after that. The next team has only 2 legs, and the next one has to use it the next week. Like that would be a more interesting way of doing it, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yes. In the end, it all came down to 2 teams on the slide puzzle. Tiffany and Krista, the former cheerleaders, even though their hashtag is the cheerleaders, and Kelly and Siobhan, Team TMZ, which we've got to watch what we say because we don't want to end up on the cover of TMZ. But I have to say, this is one of my least favourite Amazing Race teams of all time, and this is one time when I was fully satisfied with who was the first boot. I found their humour to just be not funny at all. Like them trash talking the teams, I think there was like 1 funny line out of the 10 lines that they said, and I just found them frustrating and annoying in the challenges. I think I predicted they would be the first boot, so it didn't surprise me based on their performance. And as I said, the trash talking was just not that funny. I don't particularly admire their line of work either, but at least they have a job, which is more than I have. So I can't really dig into them for what they do. Not sad to see Kelly and Siobhan go at all. So, Colin, it all came down to the 2 teams. What did you make of Tiffany and Krista and Kelly and Siobhan and all the drama that happened there? And Phil coming out to meet them on the course in the first leg. This is like unheard of for leg 1.
Yeah, well, I'll talk first about Phil on the scene at the end of the episode, because I was really wondering why he did that. They were far behind, obviously, but they finished the challenge, and usually he only comes out if there's no hope. I can only imagine it was because we saw the sun was setting. There was clearly no way they could even edit any suspense into this, so they decided, well, let's just have them go out there and meet them. Other than that theory, I'm not really sure why. I was really expecting Tiffany and Krista to be the annoying ones going into this season. I found them kind of full of themselves in the preseason, but I thought they were more sympathetic. I was more sympathetic towards them in this one. Kelly and Siobhan, and again, I think that the paparazzi, the TMZ, and the reporter teams, it really showed their profession because they seem to be playing characters, television characters, more than anybody else. But Kelly and Siobhan kind of put their foot in their mouth, and it really soured me. One of the things they said, they were talking about when they were doing the slide puzzle, that, oh, well, we can't go back to work after this because we work with all men and they're always underestimating us because we're women. And then, like, the next thing out of their mouth is saying, well, we can't lose to the cheerleaders. Like, okay, so you're upset because you're underestimated for being women, so let's take the only other all-female team and let's underestimate them because they're cheerleaders. Like, that really soured me on them, so I don't really have anything bad to say about them. I did find them slightly entertaining at times, but overall, I don't think they really go out on a positive note.
What about you, Jared, the final 2 teams that were going head-to-head?
I think Kelly and Siobhan had villain potential, but overall I was really happy that Tiffany and Krista were the two that kind of got over the line and finished the puzzle. I just think they're more likable, and I think they'll probably bring a bit more to the race than Kelly and Siobhan would. I think they'll probably be better at challenges throughout the race. I think Kelly and Siobhan, even if they'd survive, are kind of going to struggle week to week. So I think it's good that they've gone early.
What about you, Rossi? In more than one word.
I cannot stand Tiffany and Krista. They're the worst team.
They're the worst team?
They were like crying at every moment, and it just got
weren't Kelly and Siobhan?
TMZ or cheerleaders? What? Which ones are you hating on?
The cheerleaders.
Yeah, but TMZ were crying along the way as well. They cried when they completed the challenge.
Yeah, but not the same as they're getting into the cab. I'm so proud of you. You did it. And then they're crying. Like, get over yourselves. And unpopular opinion, I loved Kelly and Siobhan. Especially Siobhan.
I love that song.
I don't know. I think they were funny. I think more so Siobhan. She was like a mean funny, whereas I think Kelly was just a bitch. And I love the end thing where they're like, we're just going to go to the bar.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Are you a subscriber to TMZ, Rossi?
No, but maybe now.
I don't even know what TMZ is, like some sort of celebrity. I like that they said celebrity.
Like a gossip thing or something?
Anyway, so that was the last two teams. I was happy Tiffany and Krista pulled it out. I actually got spoiled on this episode. Thank you, Ryan O'Prey on Facebook, for spoiling the first boots of season 27, episode 1. Very appreciated that. So there was no drama for me there. In the end, Kelly and Siobhan were eliminated on the scene. Glad we got a Phil on the scene because we didn't have one anywhere else. So that at least made up for it. Let's look at some of the other teams here that we haven't talked about. Let's look at here. Logan and Chris, the dating paparazzi, and who came in 5th place, and Kelsey and Joey, the dating news anchors, hashtag the reporters, who came in 8th place. Kind of the similar teams there. They were kind of the ones that blended in the middle there. Logan and Chris kind of getting a bit of a villainy kind of vibe. What did you think of those teams, Jared?
Kelsey and Joey surprised me because I thought they were a lot more entertaining than I originally thought they might be. They had a sort of I really liked the moment in the cab when they kind of did the whole like kind of morning news segment about like Rio or whatever. So I thought that was good because I thought they were going to be fairly bland. Logan and Chris, they weren't really in the episode much. The only thing I can remember is him wanting his camera while he was in the helicopter. So yeah, I just don't think we really saw enough of them to make any real opinions.
What about you, Ross?
Kelsey and whatever his name is.
Joey.
Oh, they were good. I think it was funny in the beginning when they were in the taxi or whatever, and then they're like, and we're live on the streets, and then their little news segment was pretty funny. Definitely more promise. I think they have a lot more to deliver. I don't think they were very strong in this first episode, but they were all right. And who's the other team?
Logan and Chris Paparazzi.
Oh yeah, I didn't care for them. Whatever. Bye.
I don't even know if Chris knows he's on a TV show. He just seems a bit out of it. Colin, those two teams.
Yeah, Kelsey and Joey, they had that funny moment, but I really hope that that's not what we get every week from them, because, like I said, these media teams are all playing to their characters, and I understand, okay, you're reporters, so that's what you do, but if every single week they're like, well, we're back here for episode 2, and we're moving to Argentina, like, let's not have them do this every week and kill it.
Well, at least we didn't have much selfie.
Yeah, we're selfie free. Although I think that Logan and Chris were looking for that. The only thing that was really memorable with Logan and Chris was that helicopter ride, and the comment was like, "I really wish I had a camera." I'm just like, I'm scratching my head when you're saying this. Like, you know, what would just make this helicopter great if there was a camera around here to capture this view. Yeah, like the one that's filming you and the outside of the helicopter right now.
It's like in Survivor when they get their Sprint phones to take camera.
Yeah, neither of these teams are my favorites right now, and I think it is because what we're seeing from them. Brief things we saw, it was them playing characters more than us getting a little bit more inside their personalities, but I didn't hate them either, so middle teams this week, we weren't going to see a lot from them. Hopefully there's a little bit more next week.
And the final two teams that we haven't talked about here, and there's probably a reason we haven't talked about them, because they didn't really have too much notable moments. They kind of just crept in the middle there. Jasmine and Danielle, who came in second, they're kind of just the female Tanner and Josh, that typical young female strong team, the cyclists, the hockey
and that's
girls, that kind of thing.
Well, okay, you threw hockey girls in there, but
Data and Amanda.
Cyclists, that's not a bad comparison.
They're like the Canadian heroes, Dana and Amanda. Yeah, they were there. They had some okay moments, and then they came second. And the other team, Denise Jones and James Earl. I didn't know his name was James Earl. I thought it was James, which I'm hoping their last name is Jones, but who knows. Yeah, this was interesting because in the pre-videos they kind of got set up as like the fun team, but then straight off the bat they've got this like, oh, she didn't accept me, and there's this dark thing, and we're still recovering and all that, which I was surprised because I didn't think they were going for that angle. I thought they were going for the fun, loving angle that we saw in the pre-season, which they kind of were in a way throughout the rest of the episode, but they kicked off with that. Which I still don't know what to make of them, the mother and son. I did like Kelly and Siobhan's one comment that made me laugh was the Norman Bates comment with Denise and James Earl. I thought that was funny. I can see the comparison. Colin, Dana and Amanda, Jasmine and Danielle, and Denise and James Earl. No hyphen.
Jasmine and Danielle, I'm still holding out hope this is another cyclists. I love the female athletic teams, but yeah, we didn't get to see much of them this week, and we didn't get to see a lot preseason, so I'm not going to judge them until I see something one way or the other, but I'm holding out hope for them. I'm glad they finished second. Denise and James Earl, I found them very entertaining this episode, or at least Denise, and I agree that the setup was a bit of a downer for what looked like a really fun team, but Denise is such a character. Like when she was in the cab, just going whoop whoop, and then the cab driver, they're like, "Hey, did you hear that?" They knew his name. They're like, "You hear that, Fred?" And he's like, "What?" Like just completely baffled by her.
He had no idea.
Yeah. The Norman Bates thing is great. They're going to be hashtag Bates Motel.
Yeah.
And the fact that Denise had no shame wearing that bikini, like no shame at all, nor does she really have reason to. No kidding. What is she? I don't even know how old she is, but yeah, that was memorable. The lipstick was
older than 30.
Older than 30 for sure, considering she's got like a 25-year-old son. The lipstick with his fun at the end, like we're the pink team, we've got to be wearing the pink. I think though the strangest thing, like you mentioned, they're calling him James Earl. You said like James Earl Jones, but I had a flash of James Earl Ray, the assassin of Martin Luther King. I don't know if this is the name. They're from the South. I don't know if that's a name you should be wearing with pride, really. I really hope their last name isn't Ray.
You them bringing it down.
Yeah. Well, we're comparing them to Norman Bates and Martin Luther King's assassin. Like, they're not getting a good rap so far.
I'm worried.
But no, I mean, they're a fun team, and I'm glad that they finished at the top. Like, them and Cindy and Rick are making this a more interesting season because they're good characters and they finish close to the top. So I hope that keeps up.
Jared, the track stars and Team Alabama, James Earl, the assassin.
We didn't get much from the track stars. Hopefully we get a bit more over the next couple of weeks. I did think that they were going to win the leg, so good job on the editing there. And Denise and James, I think they're great. I think they're going to be the biggest train wreck this season, and I hope that they stick around and just kind of self-destruct each and every week.
And Ross.
Two strong teams. I really like these two. Jasmine and Danielle, they were good competitors like Tanner and Josh, but they were interesting to watch. They had their funny bits and their good moments and stuff like that. And Norman Bates and Mama Bates, they were surprising. Like, I did not expect a lot from them. I thought they'd be completely out of it. They'd be toward the back, maybe 9th place at this first leg or whatever. But they were in the beginning in the front, and they were funny. Like, both of them were good characters this episode.
Well, that is our teams. The 11 teams. We're down to 10. Bye-bye, Kelly and Siobhan. Moving on. Very decent premiere. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm actually really looking forward to the next one after talking about this through. I'm just looking here. Next week we're in Argentina, and episode title, Get In There and Think Like a Dog. So
the suicidal dogs in Argentina, they're back.
Yeah, they're back. Well, I think they're back for a 2-parter, because I'm looking here, they've released the title name for episode 3, Where My Dog's At.
Yes.
Which, Where My Dog's At sounds suspiciously like a tweet that Natural Born Lady Hustler would say, like, Where My Dog's At, hashtag Where My Dog's At. Speaking of Natural Born Lady Hustler, we have to hear from her. This is completely unprepared, so I'm just looking here. Natural Born Lady Hustler, she hasn't tweeted in a while. Maybe we scared her off. But she says, just when I thought I was losing myself, you was there to lift me up. ... Oh, that's nice. See you again. That song have you think about everything that you lost. ... That is so true, Natural Born Lady Hustler.
She really gets you thinking, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's inspiring. Hashtag Where My Dog's At. She says here, just dropped a tear for Rich. SMH. What does SMH mean? Or is that Natural Born Lady Hustler code? I'm not sure if we read this one out, but inspiring words here. She says, never live paycheck to paycheck. ! That's changed my life. I will never do that.
That's because you don't have a job, for one, right?
Yeah. Maybe I'm not going to say that neither does she, but we don't know. If that ain't my boyfriend, I love him so much. And then there was one here. She was visiting her friend in the hospital. Not Sheeta, I don't think. It could have been Sheeta. Hashtag shout out for Sheeta. Where's the tweet that I was reading? Thanks, I love you. I was looking for you yesterday at the hospital, and then I found out they said that you left early to get your hair done. So Natural Born Lady Hustler left a friend at the hospital because she had a hair appointment. And Natural Born Lady Hustler says, lol, well, you know I have to be slayed. I don't know what slayed means, but...
She has her priorities straight,
yeah,
that's what matters.
Yeah, she had a hair appointment. Forget Sheeta. So yeah, that's enough Natural Born Lady Hustler for the week. In the immortal words of Natural Born Lady Hustler, never live paycheck to paycheck. Hashtag Where My Dog's At. Stay tuned for more. She needs to get tweeting. Someone needs to prompt her because we're running out of material. We love you. All right, let's quickly get through these predictions. Jared, you were in second place. Let's see how long you can last for this season. When you're actually using your brain this time. Let's see. Colin said that Tiffany and Krista would be the first boots. Close. So close, Colin. So close. Kelly and Siobhan fourth. No. Let's see. Kristen, hashtag Kristen, said that Kelly and Siobhan would be ninth, and that well, they would be 9th. And she said that Alex and Adam would be 11th. Rossi says that Kelly and Siobhan would be 11th. Rossi, there you go, 2 points right off the bat.
Somebody read the spoilers.
Well, speaking of reading the spoilers, Jared,
yeah, I got
Siobhan, first boot. 2 points to you. Speaking of reading the spoilers, Noah, Kelly and Siobhan, 11th, first boot, 2 points to me. So myself, Jared, and Rossi are all on 2 points.
I'm off.
Where's Alex?
I'm off to a really good start again, aren't I?
Yeah, Colin, I think you're on about -10 now. Every time you get a 0, you go down 1. Yeah, Colin's still on the 0 after a whole season of being on 0.
And I won like the first 2 seasons we covered for this. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, geez, maybe you shouldn't have taken over hosting. It's gone to your head. Yeah, it's still on 0. I don't know where Alex's prediction. Did he send in predictions? Alex, we missed you. Come back on the show.
And we should say, one of our new contributors, Alec Culver, we missed his predictions because he had some technical issues with his Word document this week.
Yes. Shout out to Alec. Alex/Alec. All right, let's end this with, I need a better hashtag than Team TMZ for Kelly and Siobhan. And why don't you also give me a hashtag for this episode? Colin, kick it off.
Let me see. This episode will go hashtag Where's Alex's predictions, and hashtag for Kelly and Siobhan. I was been trying to find some type of story that they wrote on TMZ, but I'll just pull the best title I can find on the website, which is hashtag Transporter star Chris Vance, ugly divorce allegations. He calls me C-word in drunken rage.
We'll have to tune into that one. Come on, Jared, lay it on me. Hashtags.
Hashtag pass the express bomb for the episode. And for Kelly and Siobhan, hashtag gossip.
Gossip.
Yep.
I thought we were going to get something there. And Rossi, here's your shining moment.
Kelly and Siobhan, hashtag Team Bitch.
This is why we don't get guests on the show.
Like them. You're going to be the one that gets us on TMZ.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get some listeners then.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
It'd be good publicity, actually. But they would probably just end up hiring Natural Born Lady Hustler to be their social media manager. Never live paycheck to paycheck.
And I guess for this episode, hashtag never live paycheck to paycheck.
Going for a recent hashtag, I see. Very creative. All right, that's it. An enjoyable kickoff to the season. I'm happy that we're here. It feels like we're getting no breaks for the Amazing Race. It's just on every week of the year. And, yeah, Argentina, where my dog's at. Colin, any final words on the episode? Any thoughts about next week? And thank you for being here.
Final words on the episode. Justin is a narrating dream. I hope we see lots of them this season. Predictions on next week is bring on the suicidal dogs. Let's get an answer to that question from Canada. And thank you for having me.
Rossi, in one word, summary of this episode, and thank you for being here also.
Outcast.
That was one word repeated.
I want the Outcast twist. Bring them back.
Now you have like 7 words.
We need to hang up on Rossi right now. And Jared, last but definitely not least this week, that was Rossi. I'm kidding, Rossi. Jared, thanks for being here. Final thoughts on the episode. The end.
Give me a roadblock next week and stuff you, CBS, with your stupid this season on the Amazing Race segment.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that, but that sucked. We didn't even get to see the dogs. Yeah, subscribe, Survivor Oz, SurvivorOz.com. Yes, we are an Amazing Race podcast, whatever. We're probably on YouTube. We're probably on the front cover of TMZ. That's your fault, Rossi. And until next time, we will speak to you next time. Until next time, speak to you next time. Oh, now I'm turning into... Take off on the plane. Bye-bye. Damn you, we're back.